I've been with KW for I think 7 years. I think, yeah. And I've been a realtor for 24 years. I didn't do anything for the first 8 years. Actually, I lied. The first year I thought I was going to be a millionaire. I had I had like 16 under contracts in like 4 months. And I was calculating the commissions and I'm like, man, this is awesome, right? And then what happens is I was in an era where whatever the bank needed for you to make income, the next day that same number would be on tax returns. So everything was fabricated when I started real estate. It was like the wild, wild west. Coincidentally, the real estate bubble popped because of situations like that. So I got so disgusted about the whole industry that I said, you know what, I'm not even going to do this. My mom is a person who made me get into real estate, and especially even more so my dad, because I lived underneath his rules, right? I mean, his roof, so it's his rules. So they made me get my real estate license. I was a financial advisor. I enjoyed investing, in the market. I was doing well, but I was only as good as my last account, right? And so, we all think that we're smarter and better than our parents. So I'm like, well, if my mom is making this amount of money, I'm going to be a billionaire because I think I'm way smarter than my mom, right? And how we all think, right? And probably that's how our kids think about us, which I think as having a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old, they think that they're smarter than me already, right? But what happens is I got burnt out of the financial sector and then I came back into real estate. And the reason why I did is because, my mom just, was killing it. My mom's been doing it for 35 years. And this is a woman that was born in Portugal, came as an immigrant, didn't finish, college, and she just killed the real estate market, right? So she is the one who inspired me, to become a realtor. But when I came, I've been full time already. I think it's going to be 15 years this year. I've been full time. And, I made the decision that I was tired of being broke, right? Show of hands if you're tired of being broke. Okay. Right. So I was just tired of being broke, right? And so I made the decision in June, and I think it was June of 2012 or something like that. And I made a decision that I'm just gonna give this my all, right? I'm just going to make a decision and give real estate my all. And in 6 months, I made 50,000, right? And what I did is I was doing open houses, every weekend in the summer. I was wearing a suit, I was sweating, right? I was even doing like during the week open houses, from 5 to 7 on Thursdays, right? Because there's a lot of people who can't work. I mean, you can't see houses on the weekend because they work during the week, they were able to do that. So I just made a decision that, I was giving it my all and that no other, I disconnected from my friends, right? I disconnected from the people who were not where I wanted to be, right? And that's just for a short period of time. And I made the decision when the first 6 months that, this is it. And I proved it to myself. Like people don't make 50 grand in 6 months. People don't make 100 grand, in 12 months. And then every year since then, it's been going up, right? Um, it's not easy. You're gonna have tons of distractions, right? Every year that I think that's gonna be easy, it's not. But you know what? It's worth it. Because what's the alternative? Getting a 9 to 5, right? Right? So this doesn't pertain to the staff here, right? Because if it was, tell you the truth, if it wasn't for the staff and KW, I wouldn't be here, right? So I started in a boutique company, Kosher Realty in Kearney, and then they became, Better Homes and Garden. And I worked there for many years. And I was on a 50-50 split. I didn't know better. Wow. I was on a 50-50 split. I was out for like 5 years, right? And I was killing it, right? And then I went to Century 21 and I negotiated a 70-30 split. And then after a year, and then I wanted, an 80, I got an 80-20. And I thought I was and I thought I was good, right? I had a team at one point in 2016 and 17. I had 25 people on my team. We did 110 transactions. And we were number one in the state of New Jersey and number 35 in all of the United States of Century 21 teams, right? And then and then I started, someone told me about KW, they gave me the book, and then I got pissed off because I'm like, shit, I lost all this money, right? I could have been like, way more money, right? So I came to KW, I fired 20 people on my team. I brought 5. I brought my mom, my brother-in-law, my mom's best friend, and and I forgot another friend. After 1 year of being at KW, I fired them, right? Because I didn't get this far in my life to get this far. And what happens is, I was getting into arguments with my mom and my brother-in-law that I'd rather not get into fights with them, right? I rather just, her be my mom and, my brother-in-law be my brother-in-law, and they left, right? They went back to Kosher Realty. They're still there and stuff like that. But, my dreams and my goals are so much bigger than or worrying about how I'm going to make someone else feel, right? At the end of the day, if I don't feel good about myself, how am I going to be feeling good with everybody else, right? So I've been a solo agent for like the last 5 years. I have an assistant for the last 5 years. She's in the Philippines. I don't touch paperwork, right? My first like 5 years, I just cried. I cried a lot because I had to do paperwork, and so just like cleaning the house, I don't clean my house anymore. I hated it because, I just hate cleaning the freaking house and cutting the grass. I don't do that anymore, right? So I just pay people to do that. I'm stimulating the economy by giving jobs, right, to others, right? So that's the reason why I don't do it myself, right? But anything is possible. It's life by design. And the reason why I came to KW is because I was doing it all, right? I was the social media. I was payroll, right? I was, training and hiring and developing. Now, as a 46-year-old, I just don't tolerate a lot of things, right? I just don't tolerate a lot of things. Time is money. I am a very selfish person. I love myself before I love anybody else. And I tell that to my wife and kids, right? And because if I'm not good, no one else is good. So what happens is you have to be selfish with time. Like, and you might, see this and hear this and say, wow, you're so insensitive and you're so cold. But I do my fair share of good deeds throughout the year. Okay. I give of my time. I donate money to a lot of different charities. And so I came to the realization that I am not going to be Mother Teresa or Saint Joseph or any of the saints that you probably already know, right? And I'm okay with that, right? So you just need to be okay with that too, because you can't be everything to everybody and you can't be everywhere. Does that make sense? So I'm going to try to condense this to how to get your time back. And the way you're going to get your time back is by passive income, right? So the reason why, and many reasons why I came into this office is because I don't have to do a lot of the things. Amanda is phenomenal with doing, all the technology and making sure that new people and even seasoned people, are good with so many things, even outside of technology, right? Keith, is actually hiring and training and developing other people for you. And you don't have to do that. It's a pain in the ass. Let me rewind. Disclosures before I continue. I am going to curse, right? So it is me. I am from New Jersey. If you get offended, I apologize. My wife's a teacher, she's an educator. She, reprimands me every single day on how I communicate. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Here's
How are you?
right here, bro.
Good, good.
Yo, how far did you drive to get here?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Awesome, bro.
Well, let's go now.
Absolutely.
I was starting to hear yesterday. I was like tomorrow. I was like, oh no.
You guys don't know him,
today.
I call him the Carney Killer.
Oh, no, you give me the goosebumps, bro. So I'm happy, so disclosures, I might say things that, might offend, right? But that's the reason why I don't do a lot of trainings, right? So I was giving the green light that I can be me today, and I can speak the way I speak. The reason why I'm here is because I want to make sure that I give back. As I'm getting older, you're gonna start noticing that it's cool to give back, and that's what I'm doing. I'm giving back because at the end of the day, we're as strong as our weakest link, right? And for you to be part of KW, you've kind of are a different breed, right? You're already going against the norm. And that's the type of people that we're looking for. We're not looking for the followers. We're looking for the leaders, right? We're not looking for, just anybody just to be a realtor here in this office. Tell you the truth, I tell keep the fire agents here because they're just a waste of time, right? You waste more income on when I want to make a copy, right? You run out of my paper, right? The ink, right, is for people that just come here just to book their vacations or to do copies for their kids at school, right? So what happens is if you're not producing, I don't know if we want you there, right? And it's okay. We got to cut the fat, right? And that's what I'm doing in all aspects of my life. I see who I'm hanging out with. I don't hang out with them anymore. I'm friendly with everybody. They just don't know I blocked them or I'm not their friends. But they think that we're friends, but we're not, right? But it's okay, right? So what you want to. So I want to make sure that everybody is, making money. So right now, you have the opportunity to build an organization, right? And not by doing a lot, just by building relationships with people and, and just being transparent with other agents that you do business with, right? And that's the biggest thing is don't be an asshole, right? Because karma is a bitch, right? So if you put a negative out, you're going to get negative in. If you give positive out, you're going to give positive in. And I am a firm believer with that, right? And so, that being said, I have so much information I want to share with you, and I'm going to go back to this because it keeps me structured. But I'm going to go through this a lot of the PowerPoint presentation. But make sure you sign in and get your email address, to Amanda, and we'll send the package out, to everybody. Because today, is just really to get you excited about, having an organization that could help you make extra income. And the only way you're going to do that is if our office is profitable. The good thing about our office being a small office is that we don't have a big, expense overhead, right? We don't have a big overhead. And Keith was sharing with me that most of these offices, their expenses is about $16,000 a month, right? Jess is so great, right, with the balancing and not overspending that she does our budget with $1,000 a month. That's a big difference, right? Now we cut. I think our roster was like 200 over 200 agents, right?
When I started, I believe we were at 225, and that was November 2020. Right after the big COVID boom.
Okay. And then it went, and then I think it went down, and then it went up, and then I think we have now 175.
Yeah.
Because we fired all the fat. Right? And the reason why, and that's good, right? Because what happens is you want to be connected to people who are producing. Iron sharpens iron. If you come to the office and you're already having a shit day, and then you come here and somebody's complaining and whining, and you're gonna say, wow, real estate sucks. Right? This office sucks, right? Everybody here sucks. The environment sucks, right? So, you know what? Whatever, everybody has bullshit, right? And when you get married, it's more bullshit. And when you have one kid, it's more bullshit. And when you have two kids, it's more bullshit. And three, and it just gets more and more and more, right? And then you turn on the TV, and then there's more of that, right? And then you drive in New Jersey, and people flip the bird on you, and you're like, right? So it's so important for you to be positive. It's so important for you to do self-improvement. Last year, I went through 16 audible books. I can't read books, I fall asleep, but I can listen to them, right? Especially when I drive. And then I put it on 2.5 because it goes and talks faster, you know, and people monotone and sound like Charlie Brown's mom, then I just change the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I need to be stimulated very instantly and quickly in order for me to move, right? And so music, right? I don't know if you noticed, but every time you pass my office, I play music, all different types of genres, right? Why? Because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm in high school and college. And that's why I do it. So every day in my head, I am reliving my high school and college years, right? I listen to 90s hip hop, Bob Marley, right? And then I threw in country because my wife got me into country, right? And so I do that because I say this because all these things that you think that I'm just wasting time and not getting to why you're here, you know, it's the ingredients of success, right? It's all mindset, it's consistency, it's being here in the office, right? And you know, and I'm just curious, if I hired you, show of hands, or indirectly or directly, right? So, right, Ralph, I hired you, right? Keith, Yanni, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so 3. So right now we have 34 people in my organization, my downline, right? 34. I have 10 who I hired directly. From the 10 that I hired directly, I have 2 people that one leg has 12 people and another leg has 10 people. Keith is one of my legs who has 10 people, right? So 80-20 rule. Not everybody, and then I've hired more people than 34. I don't even know how many people I've hired, but right now we have 34 active, right? And so I'm going to show you, you know, well, I'm going to tell you, I don't have that as my PowerPoint. If you were to take the money that you just made, right? And let's say it's 500, let's say it's $200, right? Or even, let's say 500, it's more sexy. $500. If you take $500 a month and you invested in mutual funds or an EFT, and let's say in 20, not let's say, but in 20 years at 10%, that $500 is $500,000 in 20 years. If you take $1,000 for the next 20 years, okay, at 10%, that's $1 million. If you take $2,000, and here's the numbers I'm sharing with you, people are making this a month, right? There's somebody that just makes 100 grand, not selling real estate, and just you know, builds relationships with other agents, and then invites them to meet with their team leader. And that's his business, and he makes $100,000. He makes $8,300 a month. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Right? That he created a social media platform. He posts things about Keller Williams, right? And then, you know, he sets up an appointment on, if you're interested, set up an appointment. He forwards that to his team leader. The team leader does all the work, and he's like this, right? Down in Texas.
That's how Anna came here.
Oh, really?
That's how Anna came here.
See, I'm not full of shit.
The person, I spoke with him yesterday, we've been playing phone tag now for about 6.5 weeks. He's in Texas, right? Because remember me asking you, who's Alma, right? Or who's Irma? And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, they keep telling me they know you. And you're like, I don't know them. Because somebody in Texas did exactly what Billy said. He set up a social media thing, set up an internet thing. She must have searched like Keller Williams or real estate or whatever the case may be, clicked on it. And now he has, the guy in Texas has Downline throughout the United States. Not just in Texas. And he said, I said, are you a realtor? He's like, well, I have my real estate license. I said, what does that mean? He's like, I haven't done a transaction in probably like over a decade. His business model is down.
So that's the beauty of Keller Williams, and that's the reason why I came into this business, because I'm from New Jersey. And we have a trust issue. I don't trust a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And so that being said, I made sure I went to different types of brokers to see which is the, because changing brokerage is a pain in the ass. Show of hands if you agree with that, if you've been with somebody else, right? It's a pain in the ass. If you're new and this is your first one, then great, because your first car is a Lamborghini.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're not so blessed, right, it's hard to pick which brokerage you're going to go to, right? So the reason why I picked this brokerage is because I don't have to do it all. Everybody that's here, a broker handles, your broker questions. Make sure you don't get jammed up with legalities, right? You have a tech person helps you out with tech. You have a person that helps you out in recruiting. You have somebody that does payroll, right? So you don't have to worry about that because you have a team of people. So I'm like, wow, this is great. And then they're international, right? So I've already done transactions in Portugal on Portuguese, and it's great. And you gotta, thank God for God bless America, but there's loopholes for tax purposes. So I make sure when I go on my family vacation, right? I don't know if I'm being recorded.
Mhm.
When I go on my family vacation, I make sure I go to countries that there's a Keller Williams. Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, Dominican Republic, right? Portugal, Spain. I Googled Keller Williams, I took a selfie, I'm like, great, tax write-off.
People think he owns brokerages in different countries because of those pictures.
Mhm.
And I never correct them because we have the same friends. And people tell me all the time, and I told a group of friends of ours that I was coming to KW, they were the first group. You were just in Turks and Caicos. And I know they asked me why I was coming here.
Yeah, I'm Pitbull, I'm international.
Yeah, he's really killing it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I saw you just opened up a brokerage in Turks and Caicos. I said, really? They're like, yeah, we just saw a picture. I was like, yeah, man, he's killing it. I don't ever correct people, but perception's reality, and yeah.
Right? And then I do like a comment. Yeah, just checking out some properties for my clients for an Airbnb, second real estate, summer house, right? Yo, Pete, don't you understand that if you see it on social media, it's true?
Yep.
Right? That's the world we live in. So accept it, play it, spin it, use it, brand it, right? Because at the end of the day, we're entrepreneurs, we're fighters, we're hunters, right? Back in the day, 90% of people were self-employed. Only 10% were employees. Now it's the flip. It's like 90% employees, 10% entrepreneurs, right? So we need to have that entrepreneur mindset. Here's the good thing about being, self-employed. You have no schedule, right? Are you doing favors for others, or are you putting yourself first, right? That's how I started the meeting, right? You got to be selfish. You got to put yourself first. You got to love yourself first. I tell that to my wife and my kids. Daddy, why are you going on? Oh, Daddy, why are you going on a vacation by yourself? I go on vacation by myself once a year. I decided to do that 3 years ago. I told my wife and kids, they weren't too happy with it, but at the end of the day, I need to be happy by myself, with myself. And when I go on vacation by myself, that makes me happy, right? So when I come back, I'm a beast. I am a beast because I am recharged. I don't gotta worry about what are you gonna eat, about the kids, about problems, right? I just go, I see the sunrise, I see the sunset, I have a Presidente at 8:30 in the morning, right? I can be in my swim shorts for 3 days. Of course, I change it and I take a shower, but I don't have to dress, right? And then I come back and then I help people. I build relationships with people. Why? We're not selling Cutco knives here. We're not selling vacuum cleaners. We're selling the American dream, home ownership, real estate, right? So we have a great product to sell. We have a great company with great resources, right? Why wouldn't you plant your flag? We're national, international, right? And the beauty of it is the founder of this country, the founder of this company wrote a bestseller, right? The MREA, the real estate book. That's like when you go buy McDonald's and you go to McDonald University for 6 months, right? Because it is a thing. They give you a book and you follow it, right? And then you'll become successful. Same thing here. You follow that red book, right? Your world changes, right? So you have to incorporate that. So today's objective is for me to get you excited, curious enough for you to go down those rabbit holes of what I'm saying. Go learn our culture of Keller Williams, right? Understand, the founder, Gary Keller. Gary Keller is still he's still in the fight. He's fighting the fight. He's helping out Keller Williams, become better than what they are right now. The other real estate companies, they can give a shit about their realtors. What do I mean? Century 21, Caldwell Banker, Weicker, the ones that just got bought out by Compass.
Anywhere.
Do you know that's 300,000 agents that just signed with the devil, right? They're gonna get fired, they're gonna get laid off, they're gonna get, at least here, the profits there goes to the shareholders, right? Better Homes and Gardens, right? Century 21. Now they're owned by Compass, right? That's why they charge all these fees, right? Why? To give to their shareholders. Keller Williams, the flip, right? Meaning that whatever profit that the office makes, they want to give it back to the agents. And I think how many agents is in Keller Williams now? I think 120,000 agents.
We had the most up until that merger.
Okay.
It was the largest real estate company because we're international, but once that merger happened, now we're not.
Yeah. And why do you want to be with everybody else? Please, you want to be different, right? But only 30% of Keller Williams agents are participating in profit share. Only 30%. And I think we paid out like $1.2 billion, right? I did a screenshot. Getting older, so now I have to wear glasses. So I took a screenshot, and you can follow. There's on Facebook. There's pages that you can follow on just profit share. That's a good question. I just piqued interest, bro. You have to go find it. I think it's Aaron. I'm just trying to get Aaron, Aaron, last name Kaufman. He's the guy who does training on the whole, profit sharing and being, a stakeholder. So I'm gonna repeat it. It's Aaron, Aaron, and then last name Kaufman. So I'm going to read a post that he put, and this was January 6th. About 30% of our agents even participate in profit share. 20% of the agents that participate earn 80% of the profit shares. About 6% of our agents are earning 80% of the total profit share. Right? Now, let me read you some numbers. Year to date, the #1 office in Georgia in Fulton County paid out in profit share $854,000. The second one was North Carolina, 732,000 year to date. Charlotte, North Carolina, #3, 724,000 year to date. Maine, 721,000. Ohio, 710,000. Right? New Jersey, Ridgewood office, $600,000 that they paid out to their agents.
In 2025 or
2025. Yeah. Here, let me take the New Jersey one. The one in Wayne paid out $440,000. The one in Metuchen, #17 in the whole United States, $418,000. Englishtown, New Jersey, #33, $298,000 year to date. Right? So what other company is sharing the profits with their agents? No, they're giving it to their shareholders. While we're getting dark house, while we're Uber drivers driving our buyers to appointments, right? Now we're marriage therapists because the wife doesn't want to buy the house now, or the husband doesn't like the color of the floors, right? Or we're under contract and we brought mom and dad said, "What are you, stupid, buying this ugly house for all this money?" Deal dies. Or you're right. There's so much. So I go on tangents, right? What was I talking about?
Profit sharing,
Is it-
sharing the profits and.
Oh, yeah.
Sharing profits, and sharing all over.
So what happens is now you get the profit, right? So that's what I want to, help you with is understand that there is an organization that's going to be helping you, with that. So I'm going to go through this real quick. And I already did most of this, so I just paraphrase this. But I'm going to go to, see, 1.2 billion that they paid out to KW. And the reason why I'm educating you this because when you talk to another agency, they're gonna always think that their agency is better than ours. So your objective is not to argue, right? It's just to ask questions throughout the period of the transaction so they could pique interest and see how you're different than everybody else, that you're polite and stuff like that. So when you do say, "Hey, would you be open-minded and just learning a little bit more about Keller Williams and how agents that come to Keller Williams net more money than other brokerages?"
Nobody's ever come here and made less.
Because there's no one that compares, right? In order for me to sell, I need to believe on what I'm selling, right? Not that I learned with buyers because in my first years I'm like, you don't want to buy this, right? Shit. They're like, oh, we love it, and right, and I'm like, I'm gonna learn to shut my mouth, right? Because you don't know their situation, right? They might be coming from an apartment. They might be coming from a town that they're getting harassed. Or maybe that their kids are being bullied at school, right? You don't know, right? Your objective is to listen to what people's needs are and match make it, right? You're not a car salesman. No offense to car salesmen, but you're not a car salesman, right? You're providing an opportunity to help somebody out, find a place to call home, to have more security. Do you know children that are grown up in a home statistically succeed more than children that were raised in an apartment? Right? That's powerful shit. Right? Why? Security. Kids feel more secure when they're in a home than in an apartment. Right? The reason why I moved because my son was one. The tenant upstairs and my parents' four family, the guy kept beating the crap out of his girlfriend and cursing and stuff like that. And I didn't want my wife to listen to that and be subject to that and my children. So you know what? I did that's when I made the decision, those 6 months, I'm gonna be selling like crazy and really, sacrificing my life so it can change, right? So at any point in your life, if you're not killing it right now, it's because you're too comfortable. Something bad. This is unfortunate, but something bad has to happen in your life for you to open your eyes and take this opportunity serious. A divorce, an illness, bankruptcy, no money in the bank, kids going to college, and now they look at you and say, "What the hell? I want to go to college, and you don't have money to put me through college," right? A family member passes, and now you have to cremate because you can't afford the funeral, right? And if that person wanted to be buried, right? These is real situations that are coming across my path, and it's crazy, right? People are making decisions in their lives because of money, not because of what's right or what they believe, right? And that's through all areas of whatever, right? So here you can make excuses or you can make money, right? You can cry, which is okay to cry. I cry a lot. Sometimes you need to get that negative energy. My dog, I love my dog. He licks my tears, right? That's why I love dogs, right? Cats, they don't give a shit about you. They don't do that, right? They take your food and leave, and they come back 3 days later. Maybe they'll say purr, But so how does it work, right? let me just show you. So you need to think about how you came into the business, right? What did that person say? Was it so magical that it wooed you and that's how you got to Keller Williams? No, it was timing. It was being at the right place at the right time, right? And it's about asking the right questions. So here you have, this is you, your sponsored hired you, right? It's you, your sponsor, and your sponsor's sponsor. Now you have the opportunity, and that's your first leg. Like if that's you in the middle, you hire 3 people, right? Again, I hate the word hire because recruiting has such a negative, demeanor to it, right? But if you do introductories, right? If you do an introductory to Keith and he explains the system and the culture of Keller Williams and shows the numbers because it's the math. It's like that movie, right? Show me the money. It's all about the money. If it wasn't about the money, why would you get into real estate? But it's what money can do. Money buys freedom. Money buys time, right? So now you have the opportunity to teach your organization to have the same opportunity that you have for you to make money, right? Because thank you for coming down, and that's why we're gonna, go do lunch because I want to help you make more money, right? I want to help everybody make more money because money makes the world go round, unfortunately, right? If you want to eat good food costs more money. You want to go on nice vacations cost more money. Nice houses, nice cars, good insurance, right? All money. So how is it calculated? It's calculated mathematically, only works when it's profitable. Without profit, there's no profit share. That's why we encourage everybody to do better, right? And if you have any questions, usually it's like if you come to the office, if you ask a question to somebody, somebody's not going to say no and not help you, right? We want to help you, right? There's no stupid question. It's not a question of does it work or not. If the business is profitable, the profit share works, right? And that's the core. So I'm going to stand up because that. The benefit of being hired before January 1st, 2024. After that, rules changed. That's why you can't sleep on opportunities. Opportunities, they say, only come around once or twice. No, there's always opportunities. Are you open enough to see them, right? So when I came into the business, if you worked if you were at Keller Williams for 3 years in a day, right, you're already vested. That means if you leave real estate and retire or go anywhere or go to another firm, the business that you built, the profits that you're getting, you can still keep it for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life, right? Now, it changed, meaning that you have to be here for 7 years and 1 day, right? So 7 years and 1 day, you might think it's a lot, but where else would you go knowing that this is already the best place? Now, there might be some companies that might say, oh, the cap is lower. Here, our office, the cap is, I think, 28,800. 28,800. Well, every year you get $2,880 back after you cap.
Half cap.
Huh?
Half.
And half
You get half right there. You get.
Okay. Well, you're just being nicer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But don't put that because then you're gonna start spending money there.
Most people don't know that.
Did you guys know that?
Yes.
All right. So what happens is that's the money I use to go to family reunion. That's the time. That's the money that I use to go now on my vacations. Right? But if you look at that, you get 10% of that back. So really, your cap is much lower than that. Right? And so here's the thing. Back in the day, your parents, when they worked for a company, they used to get a 401k. The company used to match dollar for dollar. You even got profit sharing plans. You even got a month vacation. Nowadays, you go to a company, they don't give you a pension. They don't give you profit sharing. Maybe they'll give you a 401k. And if they do, they're probably not going to match dollar for dollar. They'll match maybe 25 cents for every dollar you put in. and vacation is only 2 weeks. That sucks, right? It's called timing. So now I'm gonna talk to the agents that before January 1st of 2024, if you hire 4 people who are cappers, what does that mean? A capper is a person who does $4 million of real estate a year. I'm gonna sound like an asshole. That's not a lot. Like that's a hobby. Like you're doing this as a hobby if you're only doing $4 million. Let's keep it real, right? You want financial independence? You need to be doing 15 million minimum if you want to change your family's tree for good. You want to pay for these colleges that are bullshit, Harvard and Columbia that are charging $80,000 to $90,000 a year, and their kids come back more fucked up than when they went. Right? Now they're in debt and so are you. Right? You need, listen, in New Jersey, you're not living comfortably. Married, kids, 2 nice cars, 2 vacations, your kids in club sports, right? If you're not making at least $300,000 a year. Let that sink in. If you're not making that money, it's okay. It's not where we're at. It's where we're going, right? It's funny how these doctors see, and then when you start making money, you move into these towns, right? And then your kids think that shit's normal. And then you got to take them out of that, and then you got to put them in other towns that are like, yo, this is the reality, right? Got to slap them with reality a little bit. And then I go with this. My kids, they talk about, their friends' parents and their, what they got and their doctors and lawyers and, all that shit, right? Now, I wear shorts and flip-flops most of the time. I dressed up for you guys, right? And I wear a button-up shirt yesterday. Yeah. And what happens is I don't need to flex. But shit, I make more money than those goddamn doctors and those lawyers that they think that they're all hot shit. But I'm okay with myself. I love myself. I'm okay with my own skin. I don't need to flex, right? The way I flex is we went to Portugal for a month, right? While their friends didn't do that, right? We do all these trips, right? And we provide that. Why? Because of the great opportunity of real estate, right? It's not that I'm smarter or better than them. No, I just work my goddamn ass in real estate. I take more rejections than most people would not be willing to take. All the hardships that come, people would have folded a long time ago, right? And you just gotta stay focused, right? I'm going off on a tangent, right? I just get it. So going back to that, if you hire 4 people that are cappers, right, you get something called a disappearing cap. That means that cap of 20, that 28, whatever, the 800, it gets zeroed out when you renew on your anniversary year. Here's an example. I was hired in September. So I came into this business at 70-30 split. If you got better than that, consider yourself lucky, right? But I thought that was good because I was getting less, right? Or better opportunity here. 70-30 split. And then what happens is 1 year later, right? When my anniversary came, I capped in 5 months, right? That means that after 5 months, I'm able to get 100% of my commission. The following year, I did it in 3 months because I'm like, you know what, this is bullshit, man. If I have the opportunity to zero cap, why am I not going to do it? That's why I started inviting people to my team leader and say, hey, listen, are you happy with where you're at? Hey, if I can show you that you can make more money than where you're at right now, would you want to know? Because what happens is we built a relationship and we became friends, right? You might think I'm your friend, but I mean, you're my friend, but you're a cool person. We dealt with this transaction together. It just kills me that you're not making as much money that I'm making. And they're like, how much you making? I'm like, way more than what you're making, bro. Well, if you're interested, I can set you up with the person that makes the hiring decisions. I have a good pull. The company's national, international. You know what? I'm going to send you over the MREA. You can do it in audio and booklet or even a picture of it. Read this book meanwhile. Google our company. I go to kellerwilliams.com. I send them international. What country you from? Hey, we have an office there. I send it to them. I wow them. Right? Here's the other thing. Rewind. Do you know there's people in our company that are making $100,000 to $200,000, not even selling real estate, and they just refer buyers and sellers to other realtors in different states, and they just ask for a 25 to 35% referral fee? There's so many ways of making money here in Keller Williams. Do you know that after you, let's say you sell 75 houses 2 years in a row, and you're like, you know what, I'm tired of this, real estate bullshit of selling houses. I want to be a MAPS coach. You can be a coach and coach people for 30 minutes, 3 days a month, and you can make about $800 per person. So if you have 10 people, you're making $8,000. You have 20 people, you're making 16,000. Right? Not bad, right? You can be a coach, right? So where in any other company, EXP, Compass, Century 21, Sotheby's, I don't know if there's any Real, right? Whatever, lifestyle, right? They don't have those opportunities. We do. That's why it's so easy, in my opinion, to, do introductions to the team leader so other people could see this. Because if you had the cure for cancer and AIDS and dementia, would you hold it in and not share that information? You have the ability to change people's lives financially, right? Maybe you're doing that for selfish reasons, but who gives a shit? Everybody does things for selfish reasons. Right? Your wife takes advantage of you, your husband takes advantage of you, your kids, they love you, they all love you, but they take advantage of you. Right? The good thing about this is that the profit share money doesn't come from your commission. It comes from the profit of the office. So everybody's like, what's the catch? If you're making this money and everybody's making this money, then somebody's getting screwed. That's the New Jersey in people.
That's right. Oh,
Right.
It took me 6 weeks. I came here 6 weeks in a row to speak with Pam because I didn't believe in the comp plan. I said, "There's no way that company's profitable." I said, "I'm scared that I'm going to go there one day and the doors are just going to be shut." Because I didn't think it was possible to do it, but obviously they do.
Right? So what happens, I'm just sharing this because a lot of people don't take time into this. So if those people that were hired before, right, you get 4 people who only do 4 million, and that's like 6 to 7 deals. So $4 million of production is 6 to 7 deals, right? And then here's the thing, there's only 24 hours in a day. You're gonna laugh at me, but you need 8 hours of sleep. I don't care if you sleep 5, but stay in bed for those 3 hours. Your body needs to heal. Your mind needs to heal. Your fat gets broken down just by sleeping. Right? If I knew that when I was 18, I'm like, Dad, I'm losing weight. I'm sleeping 10 hours. I went out last night. I'm losing weight. I need 20 hours of sleep. Yeah, I went to the club and I got on my 6, but don't worry about it. Right? I'm burning fat. Right? But okay, that was a tangent anyway. Well, so again, it's hard to understand, the profit and Jess and Keith, they can take you through it, right? But just know it's about building the relationship, right? So an example, you sell a home for 400,000, the commission is 2.5%, commission is 10 grand, 30% goes to the market center, $600, which is the 6% royalty fee, it's 600, right? Now that goes away after you pay 3,000 into it. Then the 600 doesn't go, to royalty. It gets added onto the total agent for 64, on top of the 6,400. So then that money gets accumulated within, the office on the profit. The more that you contribute to the office, the more of your cut you get. Does that make sense? So if there's we have profit. Who are we gonna give the profit to? Is it a person who, closes a lot of deals, has people on their team, or is it a person that doesn't close a lot of deals and doesn't have a lot of people on the team? Well, more of the pie goes to that person, and then less of a pie goes to the other person. but feel happy because at least you're getting a piece of the pie because there's many people that are not getting the pie. Right? So if people are not hiring people, then they're not getting a cut. That's more cut for you. So you want to make sure that you get a lot of bodies in here. And here's the other thing. Don't be afraid to talk to brokers. Yanni came here because her broker had an office, and I'm like, you know what? I want to work smart. I don't want to work hard. Why am I going to talk to individual agents? I'm going to go big or go home. I'm going to talk to brokers. So I spoke to this broker, and brokers get cocky. They're like, why am I going to leave? I'm the broker. Right? But the smart brokers understand money and they understand time. And if you're a broker, brokers have a hard time making payroll. They're counselors, they're banks, because when you're a broker, more money, more problems. It's true. It doesn't make sense to be a broker anymore. Your dad's a broker. Listen to this story. I became friends with his dad, who was a broker. I met him online at the city of Newark while I was waiting to get a certificate of occupancy. And his dad is a broker, right? If you're a broker, you have a bubbly personality. And he has a bubbly personality. He looks good. He smells good, right? And he made a remark. I laughed, and then we started talking, and then we had lunch. We became friends. Time passed. His son becomes a realtor. His son works for him, and then I was talking to him. We talk, and then he wants to jump ship. He wants to leave his dad. So I'm like, shit. Awkward. I tried to convince his dad to come, but his dad is a great guy, and he deserves it because he busted his ass, right? He deserves all his successes. But people, they get emotionally attached, right? And that's his baby. So he didn't want to leave. And it makes sense for him to leave, but he doesn't want to leave. But his son sees an opportunity. And his son says, I love you, Dad, but I gotta go.
It's true.
And I'm going to allow you to finish that story and elaborate. And how did you feel the scaredness of it, and then you left, and then who you are right now?
Well, my numbers, quadruple, it was just like Billy said, it was a small, agency, and I saw no future there, but by nature, I'm real loyal. So I stuck it out with him for, first 2 years, but I wanted to grow, and I always had Billy and Keller Williams, in my thought, so, and I joined it, and it's the best thing I ever did, and my wife can co-sign to that, so. The past 2 years I've been, I capped out, last year I capped out like 4 months in, and 2025 was by far my biggest year, so appreciate it.
I appreciate you. How many kids do you have?
Well, 4 kids.
And you're very involved with them in sports,
Sure,
and you're a coach.
I am.
How the fuck do you have the time? You just made it.
Right, yep, my real estate schedule, it revolves around my softball and basketball schedule, so I make it work. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And look at the flexibility. And how awkward is hey, Dad, can I get a raise? This is my split. What Keller Williams is gonna give me. No, son, you crazy. And he left. He's as crazy as me. I fired my mom. Right? He just walked. Right? But how many people would say, no, what kind of son are you? Right? No, it's too much noise. Too much noise. Right? And my parent, right? And what does your dad say? Does your dad throw it in your face, or does he say, son, you know what, that was a great decision?
No, obviously I left with it.
Now, not 2 years ago, because he's
Well, I left with his blessing, by the way, but no, he's extremely happy. He's supportive, and I'm supportive of what he's doing as well. Until we chit chat, every so often, and I give him some pointers of what he needs to do. And so now we're having that conversation now. So he's actually I used to reach out to him, now he's reaching out to me.
That's the only time that we're gonna hire him, just wanna let you know.
Now, like, he's on his way here.
So nothing's impossible, right? The word possible is in the word impossible. You know what I'm saying? And so anything could happen. So I just wanted to show you how it works and stuff like that. But again, you know, it's like me teaching you another language if I were to go into it. But just for you to know is that if there's money out there, why not take advantage of it? Right? Just like Carnegie and Auto and Home. Do you know that you can become a shareholder in that? Right? You refer, you know, they don't even have to do business with you, right? But at Keller Williams, we have an in-house program, Carnegie Auto and Home, that if you refer when you get under contract, the buyer to see if we can give them a good quote on auto and home, then what happens is after a certain amount of referrals, you qualify to be to get shares. And talking about, you know, Carnegie, the guy walks in, right? So what happens is, no, I was just
That time.
I was just saying that, you know, we have tons of opportunities and you can become a shareholder and not only make money through, you know, inviting people to see the opportunity, but also through auto and home, right? And there's other things that are out there. So that doesn't happen in other brokerages, right? Here it does. So we give every reason for you to be making money, you know, for that. So how do you do it? You relate to people, build a relationship. You give your team leader a referral. Your team leader recruits them for you. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you want to focus on making money. How do you recruit people? Go make stupid money. Go make stupid money because everybody's like, shit, you have a nice house. You go on vacations. Your kids are in sports.
What is he doing?
What are you doing? Do you sell drugs? Right? Everybody in my town sees me in shorts and flip flops. I only put pants on and sneakers in October. Right? Other than that, I'm in shorts and flip flops. Why? You want to know why? Because when I was a financial advisor, I wore a goddamn suit every day. And I had to do a tie, and I had to kiss people's asses. And I hated that. I'm gonna say, man, one day I'm gonna make so much money that I don't care what people think of me, right? I'm gonna wear whatever I want, right? And they're gonna regret it, right? Sound like a 5-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's so crazy? It happened. Yo, you can life by design. You can create your life. You just gotta think about it. And then you just gotta write it. And then you just gotta keep thinking about it, writing, and then you gotta talk. And then you gotta get no's. Here's the thing, I love no's. I look forward to no's. I say, how many no's can I get today? Because if I get 10 no's, that means I'm gonna get 2 yeses. And for every yes that I get, it pays me $17,000 to $25,000. This was my best year. I helped out 34 families. That's not a lie. I helped out 50, but I made more money this year. Right? I made more money this year working less and less in volume. Right? Why? I charge people more money. Why? Because I value myself and I love myself. I charge 6%. You want to hear my spiel on that? I know this is profit sharing, but I want to teach you how to make money. So when you close a deal, I make more money.
Sure.
What, you think I do this shit for free? No.
Nothing different.
Right? This is my spiel. Listen, you get what you pay for, Mr. and Mrs. Client. Obviously, you live in a very beautiful town. School systems is good, nice neighborhood. I look in your driveway and I see that you have really nice cars, right? It's why? It's because it's reliable, good brand, great customer service, right? The clothes you wear, I see that it's name brand. Why? I can see that you are a person that appreciates value. And then you wait for an answer. Yeah, I actually do. Well, why do you mean? Well, you could be living somewhere else, right? You could be not having, you know, these cars and have more, you know, of a reliable, more efficient type of vehicle, right? I see that your vacations are, you know, pretty elaborate. It's not like, you know, you're at the you know, I won't even mention the name, right? Because I don't wanna, yeah, offend, right, and you don't wanna offend them, right? But what happens is you get what you pay for. Just for you to know, and sometimes they don't even bring it up, I bring it up, so, well, you know, they like you, right? But I'm gonna bring, you know, we spoke about something that you didn't ask me about. What I charge, my fee for my services, right? I can let you know that I help everybody with white glove services, right? I take all the BS and all the worries and all the problems that is going to happen because every transaction is horrible. It is, right? The question is it horrible in the beginning and then smooth sailing to closing? Or is everything so great and then at the end the deal dies and it's horrible? Or the person gets fired, or the person decides to buy furniture and now their debt to income ratio does not qualify for them for a mortgage, right? So I'm gonna deal with all your problems. A realtor who has no self-respect probably does it part-time. I throw part-timers underneath the bus all the time. But you know, that you know are not so efficient. They charge 4%. Average realtors who give you average results and probably don't have the experience that most do, they charge 5. Agents who have been around and have seen a lot of many things and do quality control and does everything and you don't have to, and also does COs and here for inspection so you don't have to take the day off from work, right? Because maybe you might not have a lot of days off, Mr. and Mrs. Client, to take off for the home inspection and the appraisal and the certificate of occupancy, and you have to be here to open the door. I'll do that for you. And for realtors who do that, they charge 6%. 6%? So and so does it for 4. Say, no, that's fine. And you can go with them. I'm not the cheapest. But you know what? I'm the best. I'm the best. Now, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here. Your property. Can you afford to make the wrong decision on who you're gonna pick? Because you only have one first chance, one first opportunity, right? If you put the house on the market and it doesn't sell because of whatever reason, high price, whatever it may be, you're not willing to fix anything, now people see it, now they don't want it. They think that there's something wrong with it, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the wrong thing is the person who you picked. So do you want to chance that for only 1%? So if we're selling this house for $700,000, is $7,000 worth it? Or is it not worth it? What is are you not worth more than $7,000? And that's how I get to 6%. Now I'm an asshole. I keep 4, I pay out 2. If an agent's a real asshole to me and very disrespectful to me, when they ask me, are you co-broking? I might say no, and I keep all the 6% and you get 0 and you ask your buyer for it. Or I might say, yes, I am 1% minus 275 and I keep 5%. I love this new law. I love this new law, right? Why? I'm making more money now than this lawsuit, right? Who's getting screwed? The buyers, right? Why? Because the agent's an asshole. Because they make me feel special. Right? So think about my story. When you speak to other realtors, be a nice person, build a relationship, make sure that you're different. Why? I try to be nice to everybody until they do me wrong. I even have on my phone, never do business with this realtor, blacklisted, right? I got about like 25 agents. Don't worry, nobody of you is on that yet. But I do, but I do give, I favor KW agents, right? I favor KW agents, right? Because I believe in karma. What goes around comes around, right? So, what was I talking about before?
6%.
Oh yeah, so you're making more money now, right? So the more money you make, the more profitable this office is, right? And the people that you bring into the office, when they close a deal, now that's more money that you make. So have self-respect for you, because who's doing what you're doing, right? Who's going onto the computer looking for houses while you have to cook, while you have to take care of your kids, while you are an Uber driver and take them to practice? Who's doing that? Who's showing houses at night? Who's showing houses on the weekends? Right? Who's dealing with all the bullshit? You are. Right? How many arguments are you getting with your spouse because you're always late, right? That was me, my first couple of years of marriage. You're so insensitive. You said you're gonna be here, and I'm like, it's not my fault. My buyer showed up late, right? Right? So what happens is you deserve it to the point that one day you're gonna be like me now, and now I don't help out buyers. I don't help out buyers because buyers are just a pain in my ass. And I hate kissing ass. I always gotta kiss the listing agent's ass. I want people to kiss my ass. I want to get the listings. So I just focus on listings. Right? List to last. Right? And I know I don't want to discourage you, but hold value of yourself. Don't react. Right? Now I don't even help out people that can't afford 400,000. In the beginning, when I was frustrated, oh, you qualify for 150,000? Yeah, let's go to Irvington, let's go to Camden. Down south, right? I would go everywhere. Oh, you're working with an agent? It's okay, I'll show you houses too. I was just so desperate. And then when you're desperate, people don't take you serious. Don't be desperate, right? Love yourself, have self-respect, right? Maybe, if you're not getting the respect, maybe change the way you dress. Right? Yesterday I put on a button-up shirt. Oh my god, I got so many compliments. I think I might do that again. Right? But what happens is when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. And then when you do good, you make money. And then that's when everything starts. You get out of debt. Right? You start saving. You start buying. You start investing in the market. The market is hot right now. You need to diversify your money. Not only diversify in real estate, but invest in ETFs. Invest in companies that pay a dividend stock. Right? Work smart. One day that stock is gonna split. Right? You need to be making money to take advantage of opportunities. Here's the other thing. Have money saved. You should have at least 1 year of your living expenses saved. Why? Because if the market takes a dump, which I don't think it is, right? At least you're protected. Here's the other thing. If you've been in real estate for the last 2 years and survived, it was hard. 2 years ago, I don't know what the statistics are for 2025, but 2024, 70% of realtors didn't sell one house.
Last year,
2025, but what is it?
this number is alarming. 87%.
I got
What?
the goosebumps when you just said that.
87%. I just heard it yesterday in a workshop. 87% of realtors did not do one transaction.
So if you sold one property, you're in that 13% that did.
Right.
And say that. And say that. Right? Now here's the thing. I'm you. I didn't sell nothing. Hey, our office is pumping. Right? So talk about our office. Our office has these 175 agents that they're just killers. They're just killing it in real estate. They're helping out so many families. I think we're gonna get the numbers as an office. How many families we've served and how many millions in dollars in real estate that we sold. Way more than 87%. Right? So here's the thing. You want to know how you'll never fail in real estate? If you don't quit. If you don't quit, you'll never fail. Right? Imagine I quit real estate. Right? I didn't do anything for the first 7 to 8 years. Right? Imagine if I said, you know what, this is bullshit. I was such an asshole to my mom. I'm like, if you want me in real estate, then you pay for my fees. She did. Right? I just had to do my continuing ed, but she paid for my fees. Right? So now I have to have that unconditional love for my fees because
Did you ever want to quit?
dude, even now. Yeah. You know how many times this year I said, you know what? I'm tired of America. I'm gonna go to Portugal and live for the whole year for 25,000 and I don't have to cook and clean. I don't gotta do anything. I'm tired of the bullshit, right? Right, that's like, but then I'm like, they don't have good healthcare, and I go to the doctor, right? And their internet sucks, and they've got like 5 channels, you know what I'm saying? And so, but what happens is, yeah, especially last year, I had $300,000 of commission die. 300,000 of commissions die. I already had that money spent in my mind on what I was gonna do with $300,000. Do you understand how much that sucks? Especially in months that you're counting on it. Especially in months, because if you make a certain amount of money for a certain amount of years, you feel that you're good. So you're like, all right, well then I could, live this lifestyle, and I can do this, and I can buy that. And then that's good for another 2 years. And then shit goes wrong. And you're like, damn. Right? So here's the other thing. Sometimes bad things happen in your life for a reason. And sometimes you might not think that you're able to get out of it, but it helps you get more creative. And the person that you become in that transition is priceless. So don't ask why me. Say, give me more. Right? More pain. That's the only way you're going to grow. Right? Everybody loves diamonds. Right? But to get a diamond, you're going to get dirty. You got to go to a coal mine. And then how do you get a diamond? Pressure. We work best under pressure. Right? And sometimes we have to get ourselves uncomfortable. Right? I had a Honda Accord for 10 years. And I sold it. I came back with a Mercedes. My wife's like, a Mercedes? You said you're going to get a new car. I said, it's new. I got it. I thought you were going to get another Honda Accord. I said, well, people don't take me serious if I drive a Honda Accord. Yo, my wife didn't talk to me for 4 days. I don't know if she was putting divorce papers in. But that was years ago. Now she loves the lifestyle. But what happens, I'm like, damn, I got away with it. Now I got to work my ass off to pay it, right? But it's weird because now people started taking me more serious, right? I started dressing up in suits, right? You got to just change. Is this helping?
Yes.
Right? I don't know if this is help, I know it's profit share, but I'm helping you make profit. If our office does not profit, you do not profit. Right? I just need a time check because all right. So I'm wrapping up. I didn't think this was gonna take that long, but here are the quadrants, right? Who do you focus on? Other realtors, right? Friends who know other realtors. Yes, you can invite people who are going to real estate school, but you want people who are already producing. Because people who just getting to real estate or wants to get into real estate, that's going to pay you later. This is the long game. But you kind of want money now. So you want to bring people that are at least doing 6 deals a year. How'd you do last year? Oh, I did good. Great. What's good? Did you help out more than 7 people? No. Oh, then you really need to come to KW, because if you were to KW, the knowledge that you get, for sure you'll do at least 14 the first year. Oh, yeah, I did. Great. Would you want to do more? Because at KW, man, there's some great opportunities. I didn't believe it. But you know what? If you're open to making more money and saving them more money and not making your broker richer than you, right? Then would you be open and listening to the person who makes the hiring decision? I can make that happen for you. Really? You'll do that for me? Yeah, I'll do that for you. You need to make people feel special, right? Get them curious, right? Relate to them. And again, just sign in so you can get all this stuff. This goes into everything. But the next thing that you really want to do is make a list of the people who you've done business with. If you knew, write everybody you know who is a real estate, has a real estate license. Go on Facebook. It's much easier now because everybody's going to stroke their ego and they're going to promote how many deals and how many volumes that they did, right? Use that and say, hey, congratulations on a killer year. Hey, would you be open and getting together with me for a cup of coffee or lunch? I got some cool stuff I wanna share with you. And then you just build a relationship. And then there, that's when you talk about, hey, maybe I can help you out. And you know what? Maybe they say no to you now, but down the road, they might say, yes. And the best thing that you can go do is go win for you and your family. Because people will start taking you serious when you start changing. And you might not, have made any money or whatever, but just the way you talk, the vocabulary that you use, the topics of conversation that you choose to talk about, not, oh, how's the weather, or whatever, is, yo, the real estate market is unbelievable. Rates are down. When you go to parties, doesn't everybody talk about real estate? They talk about politics, vacation, and real estate. Right? Here's the thing. Don't talk about politics and don't talk about religion. You want to know why? Because whatever comes out of your mouth, you just pissed off 50% of, if not more, of that room. And you're not here, you're here to make, you know what color I see? I just see green. I just see green. Right? You know how I get to see green? When I see a smile, when I build a relationship with a person to help them buying real estate. Thank you for your time. Sorry it went over. Have a great day.
Thank you.